Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys? How's everybody doing? This is Tay Day All Day back again with another episode. And today I want to just go ahead and talk about a couple things. First topic I want to talk about is going to be how men treat women, or women versus men on how to treat one another. Okay? And the second topic I want to go ahead and touch on today is just simply a life message that I received yesterday that actually clicked with me when it happened. And this happened during my 9 to 5. So let me go ahead and jump into it because I only got about 15 minutes here. Go ahead and talk to you guys real quick. So the first one, first one we're going to go ahead and talk about is simply put men versus women. And now I believe I hit on this before a while ago about men versus women when it comes down to who knows how to treat who, and how men are looked down upon and how men are talked about and mistreating women, and that is the commonality right there. And what I want to speak on is not that this is all correct, but it depends on the time, the place, the person, who that person is how that person was raised. Now, the people I hang out with, or the people I talk to, are the people I know that know how to treat. And these do jump back into how you were raised and how those parents or those people that you looked up to or that raised you were raised. So I was raised in a household where you say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes or no, sir. Military background type of family. My father, my uncle, my mom's side, and eventually my older brother, all went into the military. So we grew up in that yes sir, no, sir. Open the door for a woman. You do this for a woman. You do that for a woman. You treat a woman nice. You always protect a woman. This and that. That's how we was raised. We was raised to believe what happened, and in their time, in their parents' time, they kept passing down that same way of treating women. But today, it's harder and harder to be able to treat the women the way that they would like you to treat them. But a lot of people have that respect for a woman still, because it's engraved in them. So the big point of here is that I want them to understand is that men, if you were a boy growing up in the 80s, 70s, 60s even, far back as I can say really, except if you were in the 20th century, you grew up in the 20th century, every year, or we were raised. I was born in the early 90s, so the year we were raised to believe and we were raised upon how to treat a lady, how to talk to a lady, what you should do, this and that. Then we were given multiple ways and tactics to win over a woman. Now, of course, there's men that use this to their advantage just to get what they solely desire. But there are other men, like myself, that use these for longevity. And what I'm getting at is that when I asked several women, what did your daddy or what did your mother teach you about how to treat a man? These women have never been taught how to treat a man. Now, I'm not saying either that everything that we were taught growing up was correct, but in my experiences and by social media and by word of mouth, these same tactics that we were taught as growing up, there were supposed to be commonalities as we were growing up as kids, and for them to grown up as kids are still working today to please, to emotionally grasp a woman's attention and get them in the place that they want them and do the things that they want them to do with them. and then move on to the next one. These tools are being used. We as men are taking advantage of it, and women are still falling for it because women do want somebody to treat them right, which is great. But where the issue lies is that these women don't only want to nowadays in this in this 20th century. We don't only want men to treat us right, treat them right. We want them also to provide. We also want them to cherish and treat them like queens and kings that were overthrown, obviously, eventually, because they want servants eventually, because that's how we were raised to treat a woman. If we treat a woman that way, they don't know what to do with it. And vice versa. What is a man's job? If you ask a woman what is a man's job is to kiss a woman's feet, praise that woman. That is not my job. A man can live and be successful and have children in the 20th century without having to go through a woman. A man can do these things. We have different technology now, and there's also more women in the world than there are men. So men have found it in the 20th century that it's easier for men to go and pick out a woman, and if a woman denies them, there's another woman that wants them. They use the materialistic items because the woman's challenge is to be able to handle their desire for materialistic things. A man's desire and his trouble for the world is how to please and keep a woman. That is where we collide at. And women have never been taught how to treat a man. So when it comes down to these relationships and these women that do crazy things, put their hands on their man, and then after so long, the man decides to retaliate, and the man goes to jail for retaliation and abuse, and man is looked down upon even more because the man beat that woman up when nobody wants to hear his side of the story. But men were taught how to try to manage a woman's attitude, how to try to manage, how to resolve an issue with that woman, how to please that woman and try and chase for that woman. A woman's not supposed to chase for a man. A man's supposed to chase a woman. That type of attitude, which is one of those old school things that is not correct for today's. It has not been updated. It needs to be updated. The commonality needs to be on an equivalent basis. Okay, it's not a lot of places that will not pay a woman the same amount of money they pay a man now. There's not a lot of places that will not hire a woman. There's not a lot of places that we're getting closer and closer to that equality that we wanted back in the day. And I believe that when it comes down to treating one another, it should be an obvious agreement. If you guys want to talk or you guys want to be together, you should be able to talk to each other upfront on what you're looking for. And if that's what you're looking for, and then if y'all looking for the same thing, great, awesome. So I want to end off on that and save that for another discussion. I may need to go into further detail on that subject, but I want to go ahead and make sure I hit on my next subject. If you got a comment or you want to share information on that, please leave me a comment. Please contact me and say you want to discuss it with me. I'll be more than happy to discuss on the fact of man versus woman, how a woman treats a man. Now, my second point of topic today is simply a life message. So the life message was yesterday as I was working with one of my leads. She mentioned a short story. And the short story was that when one of her kids or a couple of her kids went to school with this one child, he was sick. He had at a very young age, he had to have a pacemaker put into his heart. Had heart problems. And they said the kid was just the nicest kid. He acted like any normal kid. Up to his extent of what he could do, and he was always super nice. One of the nicest kids you ever know. Very polite, very well mannered. And one day she asked him, why are you so nice? He goes through people, you run into those kids that are ignorant and don't understand. They'll make fun of him and, because of things he got to do. But he was always so nice. And my lead, she used to be a teacher, an English teacher. And she asked the student, why is he so nice? Like, how does he do it? And he used to say, well, it's no reason to get mad. I have, I have so many things in life that makes me happy. My mama, my daddy, my siblings. He's so happy. He has them. He gets to go home and eat with them. They go out and do stuff. They have plans to make trips. He's excited about, and he's so happy. And the message that clicked in her head was that this kid has taught her a life lesson by explaining to her why he's so happy. And he's so happy because there's no reason to worry about the little things. And the message is that we worry about the littlest things. We get angry about the smallest things. People get mad and throw a fit and throw their drinks and slap things out of people's hands because their food isn't cooked right, or they gave them the wrong drink on accident. And we get mad. You didn't close that. You didn't lock this door. Or you forgot to pick this up. And we get mad over these things that can be resolved immediately, like they never happened. But we get angry. But this kid here may get tortured, bullied, talked down upon. And it's still nice to those kids that joke around with him, that bully him. And he's still nice to everybody because he has bigger problems going on in his life. He is aware of his situation. And now that kid did not get to live past middle school. But that kid lived his life with that message. He lived his life consistently like that because he no reason to worry about this. And it was a sign, and it hit me that we take our lives for granted because we don't have any life-threatening issues going on. We don't have those same issues somebody else do. We don't have cancer. We don't have a time clock that's showing us when we're going to die. But people like him, they realize and they have to develop that mindset to overcome those type of problems and overcome and see the light whenever there's darkness ahead. And he's able to see that. And we need to be able to see and be able to enjoy our lives that's right here in front of us, saying, you don't need to worry about that. So what you didn't win first place? You got second. So what you didn't get picked first? You got next time. So what you didn't get that job? There's more jobs out there. We need to be aware of that. We need to make sure we're sending positivity not only to others, but to ourselves, understanding ourselves and be able to cope with those. The people out here that want to commit suicide don't have any health issues whatsoever. But all of a sudden, because of someone said something and this happened, it becomes a life-threatening emotion. And we need to be able to grasp ourselves, guys. So remember that message. When you're thinking about flipping out over something small, remember it's not that big a deal. Thank you guys for listening. Your boy Tay Day is out.